Hi, everyone. I'm Johnathan Anastacio. I'm the head of creative at Covet, and today I'm going to go over building brand equity and how to build your salon business to the best, as well as scale it. Just before I get into those details, I just want to give everyone a quick intro of who I am, where I started, how I got here. Yeah, I started as a statistics major at UC Berkeley. I did not see myself doing that type of career as a data analyst and like a data analyst in my life. I really was more passionate about creative, building brands, and was so fortunate to get an internship at Tom's Shoes. And from there, I just blossomed my career in fashion and beauty. My first role was a web designer, a graphic designer for Massimo Giannulli, for modern amusement. And from there, I worked into fashion with Kamora Simmons at Just Fab. And then I worked with Jessica Alba at The Honest Company and Honest Beauty, which I helped launch into the European market, into Ulta, as well as Target. And most recently, I was at IGK Hair at Luxury Brand Partners. And now I'm very fortunate to work with Defina at Covet in Maine. Just wanted to give everyone a quick history of like where I was and how my trajectory kind of fell into place here. I do want to give a lot of examples and tidbits of how to best utilize some of my experience to help build your salon business. But yeah, one big factor is I just love working for startups. I love helping them grow, watching them grow, and using new creative skill sets that I've learned throughout the past 15 years to build brands. Again, working at Tom's Shoes, viral marketing, with Neiman Marcus and Saks Fifth Avenue to Who, What, Where, and Birdie, which was very branded content, and then building brands at Luxury Brand Partners and now at Covenant Maine, which is very hair focused. It's quite a challenge and it's really fun. So the first part about brand equity I want to focus on is attracting the right clientele by building a strong brand identity. So your identity is um, basically build awareness. Your first main factor you want to focus on as you build your salon business is how do you build awareness, and that is really focusing on a strong logo design. So make sure your customers can recognize your brand and see it in the way you intend. So the do's for logo design is keep it simple, make it unique, ensure ability, and choose appropriate colors. Colors evoke emotions and have psychological effects. Select colors that align with your brand personality and resonate with your target audience. In addition, you want to make it timeless. Consider brand application across different marketing materials, products, and environments. I have a really good example that I shared with Katina the other day. I worked on a brand where we were launching into Sephora. We were launching into Douglas, which is the Sephora, I guess, in the EU, and they were having issues with our logo being visible from 10 feet away, 5 feet away, but it was really visible at 1 foot away. It was very thin strokes. It was in a metallic embossed type of treatment. And it was very great for online distribution, D2C, but it didn't resonate with print. So I really want to stress like all that millions of dollars we launched with that packaging, we had to redo and re-envision because the SVPs at Sephora, the general manager at Douglas was just telling us, no, this is not going to work. We need to sell your brand, and it's not going to help sell if customers can't recognize it. So again, making it timeless, but consider the impact of a keep it simple logo. Like keep it very visible for mobile, visible for desktop, as well as on print. Um, I do want to get into defining your brand identity. You do want to start by clearly defining your brand's purpose, your missions, your values, your USP, which is your unique selling propositions. Like understand what sets your brand apart from competitors and how you want to be perceived by your target audience. So if you're a salon, how do you differentiate yourself from all these other salons in your area? You definitely look at their price points, so look at their Yelp reviews, look at what customers are saying about what they're missing out in the salons that they're going to in their area, and how you can best elevate and create a better experience for your own business in that area. Additionally, a consistent branding and messaging that involves maintaining a consistent brand image across all touch points. So your logo, your colors, your typography, your tagline, and your marketing materials. Consistent messaging helps reinforce your brand identity and build recognition. So I do want to go into meaning. You want to communicate what your brand means and what it stands for. This meaning is basically a tagline. So, dues for a tagline is be concise and memorable. A great tagline is short, impactful, and easy to remember. Imagine like your Instagram profile. What's the first thing it says? How does a customer relate to that first 7 words seeing your name or your salon business? Make it very short, impactful, as well as easy to remember. Communicate your value proposition. So, what makes your brand unique and benefits customers? Like what benefits customers can expect from choosing your services. So again, look on Yelp, look at what people are saying about other salons, and how do you differentiate your salon from those other services, and how can you put some of those strong adjectives like luxury or something unique that you think is authentic to your salon service, and differentiate from other salon services. But with that being said, the last thing is you want to be authentic. Stay authentic. Ensure your logo and tagline align with your values, your personality, and your mission. Otherwise, there's a big disconnect, and you can't really live and breathe this brand if it's totally different from what you want and what you are. Um, so now that I talked briefly about the do's for both the logo and the tagline, I do want to go into the don'ts. So don't for logo and tagline. You want to avoid using designs or taglines that are too similar to other local salon businesses or other businesses in your area. um, it can lead to confusion. Just again, stay authentic to you. Don't overcomplicate. Complex logos or wordy taglines can be challenging for people to remember. Again, keep things simple. I think the best quote I have is from Massimo Giannulli: "Keep it stupid simple." Like the more simple it is, and the stupid simple it can be, it's thinking about the lowest common denominator if they can do a recall. So recalling your brand, recalling all the information in the most shortest, concise way as possible, in a straightforward. Don't add so many run-on phrases, too many adverbs and adjectives in one sentence. Keep it very short. And also, the last thing is don't follow trends blindly. While it's essential to be current, trends come and go. So your brand should have a timeless appeal. Play with trends on social, but for your salon and business marketing, try to maintain a consistent approach to the look and feel. Um, so overall, the main gist of brand equity that I just went over is primary brand identity, your logo, your tagline, um, and now I want to go into a little bit of the secondary part of the brand identity. So that's your font and color palette. This can be a seasonal. I believe like if most brand, I see more brands doing this where they're using black and white logos so they can clearly define who they want to be, and they can resonate that with any visual image, any impactful holiday. They can change their color from a Pride Month. They can put a banner of rainbow behind their logo to then using different colors and hues for seasonality, spring, summer, fall, winter. I highly recommend starting with a black and white treatment for your brand, and then bring in seasonality and secondary colors. That can be expressed through online and print variations for the website versus print. Colors show up differently on RGB versus CMYK. So think about how you want to resonate, with your brand, but use colors to be as impactful in different forms of media. Um, Again, like typography, I also believe can be something that is a little bit more flexible than your primary brand. As long as you have a strong logo tagline, you can use fonts in your favor. You can play a little bit more trend with your fonts. You can play with seasonality with your fonts, but I highly recommend don't change it up too often. Play with a kind of ecosystem for a good 2 to 3 years until there's fatigue, and then reinvent the wheel and think about a new up and coming trend and how you can slowly integrate that in your brand. Don't go in on making more and more trends so quickly. You'll turn into a fast fashion brand, and you'll feel the fatigue. You'll try every single marketing tool, and you don't want to do that. You want to be perceived, that perception again is you want to be perceived as a timeless brand. So again, the last bit tidbit that I do want to say is just understand your target audience. Do some market research, conduct insights into your target audience's preferences, needs, and pain points. Again, that Yelp research or finding reviews. on your competitors, and tailor your branding and messaging to resonate with your specific audience. Um, with that being said, that last part I do want to hit on is how to reshape your customers and how to make them think and feel about your brand. Customers respond to brand through judgments and feelings. So judgments relate to things like quality, credibility, how relevant your product and services are to their needs, and whether your brand is superior to those of your competitors. So think about how the logo, the colors, the fonts create those judgments and make you stand apart and feel as credible and as relatable to your audience as possible. Again, these are just high level tips and tricks. I will be at the Experience 2023 in October, and I would love to meet with any of you if you have any questions or want to go deeper into how your brand looks and is perceived in your local area, and how we can help define and curate it. So again, the experience is this fall, and would love to see you there. The last part I do want to go over is some quick creative tips and tricks for organization and how to work with freelancers and consultants and creative people like myself. So the first tip and trick is try to use an online type of cloud service for design. I've worked in design and creative with so many different freelancers the past 15 years, where I would put projects out and they would get things done, but I wouldn't have oversight. I would only see their updates per email or per text message. I found a great tool called Figma, and I highly recommend it. It's free. I'm not sponsored by Figma, but I highly recommend using or trying out Figma as a tool set for working with freelancers and working with a creative team, so you can see them work live. You see them actually working through the program, and you can share the file anonymously with a lot of collaborators. And it's a great service to make sure your brand identity is being worked on, is being evolved, and it's also all on the cloud. So there's no, requesting of files, requesting access, requesting um, after you sign your work agreement and you pay them, you will have all the files. So it's a great way to secure your IP and to keep everything in kind of like a secure service that you own. I also recommend Canva. I know a lot of you use Canva, and it's a little bit, I would say that's a great service and a great tool, but I definitely think Figma is a little bit more uh, curated, and it's more, I would say, selective, and you can really curate and design specific to your needs. But again, Canva is great for everyone as well. The next part I do want to go over, in addition to iCloud services, is organization on iCloud. So Dropbox, Box, Google Drive, you name it. Just make sure you have a two folder system where you have a public folder as well as a private folder. Make sure your public folder has all the elements that you want to share out with that you approved of that you want to share out with your creative team. So your approved logo in different formats, your approved color palettes, your approved fonts, your taglines, and some copy treatments. That should all be in public folders. So again, not having to request access. That is a big barrier I see working with freelancers, is they're not getting the files, they're not getting the logos, and their work now has FPO everywhere. Try to just have a two folder system where everything's public, and then keep your private stuff in that private folder. You have a private, your finances to exploration, exploratory things you have in the future for NPD or for new salon services you're trying to do, things that you want. So just having that system is great on Dropbox, Box, or Google Drive. And the last thing I do want to part on tips and tricks for just staying organized with your creative freelancers is avoiding email and iMessage to kind of bring the project to life. I think it's great to use email and iMessage to start a project. However, to manage your feedback with using those tools can get super long and will be frustrating with a creative person who might have other projects on their plate. A solution would be to mark things up using a document or a docu-file or the file itself. In Figma, you actually can add comments directly to the design, and in video, you can use Frame.io to add comments to exact timestamps. So try to avoid using email and iMessage for creative feedback, but only to kick off a project as well as to get final approval and sign off. I highly recommend getting Slack to communicate so that your whole team's on the business hours. None of your team players have to worry about late night texts or emails. Slack is a great tool to give consolidated feedback on projects and work live with your creative team. But yeah, that is pretty much the high level touch points I wanted to go over in this Covet session. But again, I would love to, sit down with anyone who's attending the experience that will be at our headquarters in New York this October. I believe it's October 8th and 9th. But yeah, hopefully I see you there. If not, I'll see you. Communicate with Katina or our team on Instagram, and we'd love to connect. But we'd love to talk to you guys soon. Take care, everyone.